Hi, are you ready for a truly great relationship? Hi, I'm Jennifer Deep Stratton, co-founder of FamilyCo, an international seminar and relationship mentoring company that I started with my husband, Peter. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to speak with you on video today. I've actually created a short series of videos for you, specifically for those of you who want a deep, connected, profoundly related relationship with your significant other or spouse, and where you want to feel like you are the greatest and highest version of yourself, and that you're helping your relationship partner do the same, that they're also becoming the greatest, highest version of themselves. So who this video is for those of you who, maybe you just finally got the guy or the gal, and it's amazing because you're finally in this amazing relationship and you're wondering, how do I know this is going to last? How do I know that he's the right one for me? I like so much about him, but I'm scared. I think I might mess it up. What if, some of the things that he says that I get triggered on, I don't know how to get over it. How do I know for sure that this is somebody I can move forward with and commit to? Or you may already be married. You may have been in a relationship for a number of years, and you used to be madly, deeply connected and in love and felt understood and heard and that you were totally on the same page, and it's just not that way anymore. And maybe you're wondering, how do we get that intimacy back? How do we reconnect? How do we get that old spark back? And so that's why I've created this video series for you. Over the next 4 videos, we are going to break down exactly what is going on in relationships. And over the years that Peter and I have been coaching, what are the things that are really missing for people? Underneath it all, you know that if you could really communicate, if you could talk about deeper things, if you could resolve that one issue, that your relationship would be totally different. And the bottom line is you're really committed to being in a beautiful, amazing, lifelong relationship. And this is not an area where you're ready to settle, that you're not willing to say, oh, it's fine. You're not willing to go down the road that you've seen your friends and other family members go down, where they start out great and then the relationship peters out and pretty soon they're unhappy and stuck. And you know that's not for you. And so you want to make the right decision. You want to make a great decision. You want to do what it takes to have that great relationship. So that's why I've created this video series for you today. The first thing that I'm going to address today in today's video is why the things that we do as people to have great relationships generally don't work. I cannot tell you the number of couples that I've talked to on the phone that say, Jennifer, we've been to therapy, we've taken this course, we've read these books, we tried getting separated, we got back together, and the complaint might sound like, I come home from work and I ask him how his day went and I just get a one-word answer. Or like one of our clients who wrote me said, I am so frustrated. My husband and I carpool to work every day, and every single morning when his alarm clock goes off, he hits the snooze button. And then he hits the snooze button, and then he hits the snooze button, until finally he gets out of bed 5 minutes before we're supposed to leave, runs into the shower, and we hop into the car, and we race to work, and I'm late. And even though I've told him so many times, when I yell and I get mad, it gets better for a few days, and then it goes back to the way it was. Why doesn't he understand? What am I not saying? And so I can't even tell you the number of countless times I've heard similar examples to this, where we've said things 5, 10, 15, 20 different ways, and they just don't seem to go in. What is happening? Do our partners not care? Are they not listening? Why is it so hard to get this communication across and actually affect a real change in behavior? So that's what I'm going to talk about. So if that's where you are, one thing you should know is that you're not alone. And the thing I'm about to talk about is something that affects all of us as people. So you're not alone in this. And that thing is tied into why what we do to try to make our relationships better generally doesn't work very well or for very long. And I could give you, 7 tips or 12 strategies to fix it all, but you can Google those. You can get those online. You can get those in your Cosmo article and your Huffington Post article, and they're just not going to cut the mustard. And here's why. The reason is that our perspective seems real, and it's directly related to how we act. And you know this. And as soon as I said that, you probably thought, oh, I know that. But let me explain it a little deeper. There are the ways that we view relationships as human beings that are pretty much fixed and standard across the board. And actually, if you join us on our upcoming training call, we're actually going to teach one of the perspectives that we see as people that just goes unquestioned. It's what has us act a certain way in a relationship, has us have unrealistic expectations, makes us feel like we're settling, and largely goes unquestioned and undermines our relationship. But before I get to that on the training call, let me talk about this perspective thing a little bit. Here's a coffee mug. Yes? So I'm going to hand you the coffee mug. And what I want you to do is I want you to grab the coffee mug. Just reach your hand out and pretend like you're going to grab the mug. Okay? Now look down at your hand. Your hand should look like a C, like you were going to grab the cup, right? Good. Now, I'm going to turn the cup around so that the handle side is facing you and the smooth side is facing me, and I'm going to ask you to grab the cup. Have a cup of tea. Reach out your hand like you're going to grab the coffee mug. Yeah, very good, right? So you're going to do something different with your hand. You probably have your fingers hooked and your thumb kind of cocked so you can grab the handle. All right, so in the first case, your hand was a C. In the second case, your hand was a hook. Here's the question. Did you think about your hand? Of course not, right? You saw the coffee mug. You reached out your hand to grab the coffee mug. That was it. Why don't you think about your hand? The reason you're not thinking about your hand is because the way we react to what we see is automatic. There is literally no thinking involved. This is part of how the brain works. There is no thinking involved. You don't have to think about your hand. You see the cup with the smooth side or the handle side and you reach your hand out. That's what's happening in your relationships. When you try to communicate something, you are looking at the cup or the coffee mug from the handle side, and you are saying to your partner, grab the handle, grab the handle, grab the handle. And they're saying, what handle? I don't see a handle. And we talk louder, we talk more, we say it in 15 different ways, different languages, and no matter what we do, they don't change their behavior. And it's not because they're intending to upset you. It's because they can't see the handle. It doesn't matter how many times you explain it, the way they react is automatically related to what they see, and what they see is the smooth side of the mug. So take my example of the woman with her husband who want to carpool together, right? She doesn't want to be late for work. She sees that her husband needs to get out of bed earlier and get in the car at a certain time in order for them to be on time. He doesn't get that. He doesn't see that being late is an issue. It's not even late for him. It's just when you get to work, you get to work. It's not that big a deal. So for him, even though he's trying to do what she's asking, the automatic way of behaving is not related to what she sees because he doesn't see it. It doesn't mean he doesn't care. It doesn't mean he doesn't love her. It doesn't mean he's not trying to make her happy. In fact, quite the opposite. But the fight that ensues, the argument that happens as a result of that discord, of her yelling at him, trying to get him to see the handle, of him feeling bad because he's not getting it, he literally doesn't get it, creates a rift in their relationship. So the happy news is, I coached her for about 45 minutes and she emailed me 3 weeks later and said, hey, Jennifer, I just want you to know that I totally saw his point of view, like for the first time ever. And it didn't even upset me anymore. And one day he slept late. I got in the car without him. He took his car separately. We went to work. And then she said, the best part is, the truth is, on my way to work by myself that day, I realized that I missed our special time in the car together. and that it wasn't worth arguing over just to be 5 minutes earlier to work. So a complete shift in perspective there. And that's what we aim to do by showing you some of the tools that undermine, or some of the concepts or perceptions that undermine the way we see our relationships, and that inevitably create rifts, lack of communication, ruts, distance, lack of intimacy, all of those things. And so on our training call that's coming up, I will be teaching, along with my husband Peter, something that we see is probably one of the biggest perceptions that goes unquestioned about our relationships. And once you see it, you won't have to fall into that trap anymore. In fact, once you see this whole unquestioned perception that we have as people about relationships, you will know the secret to stopping an argument dead in its tracks. And it's powerful, it's amazing. Peter and I use it every day. We are not perfect by any means, but we are using the tools, and we are so excited to get to share them with you. So be sure you join us on the free training call coming up. Also, watch your email, because we will be coming out with our second video in this series, where I'm going to start to talk about what kind of skills you need once your perspective shifts. So once you start to see the pitfalls that we fall into as human beings in terms of our perception and how we relate to relationships, what are the actual skills that you're going to need? One of them, I think you all know, is communication skills. Are you a good listener? Most of us think we're good listeners, but I'll tell you, in the next video, we're going to break down what is happening with our listening, why it goes awry. There's actually 9 levels of listening, and most people only use 2. So we're going to talk about those 2 in the next video. Be sure to join us. Thanks for being with us today. If you haven't signed up for the training call, so that you get registered for that call, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.